I journeyed all the way to the British Isles from Jorvik to find my dream dressage stallion to import back home to my barn at the Cosmic Equestrian Center in Silverglade. I tried 4 absolutely incredible stallions that left me with a very tricky decision to make. I'll go over which horses I didn't pick and my thought process behind those choices. So, in no particular order, the first horse on the chopping block was Pharaoh. Out of all the stallions I tried, I think I gelled with him the least. Riding him, he was very anxious. It was a struggle to get him to collect up or be supple. Potentially, he was just a lot of horse for me to manage. Although, I do think he will make an absolutely lovely addition to a confident professional stables. He was an incredible horse, but not the right fit for me. The next horse kicked to the curb, so to speak, was the spicy but nonetheless lovely Theodore. The whole point of my hunt for this new stallion was to bring something home with me that I could take out and really excel in the dressage show ring. This boy was an eventer at heart, and I'm just not looking for another eventing horse at the moment. I could really tell that he loved over fences work, and I don't want to hold a horse back from doing what he loves. So I came to the conclusion that it probably wasn't the right fit. Although I am super jealous of whoever ends up with him because he was such a fun mount. And finally, Valentino. Now, I'm sure you'll be able to deduct who's coming home with me. So the reason this stunning stallion didn't make the cut was primarily his age and maintenance that he required, as he has arthritis. He was very expensive for a horse that's going out of his prime, and while of course he is a very fancy Grand Prix horse and will be very worthwhile for someone else, I want something I can work with for the long foreseeable future and not worry about limiting the work and competitions I would love to get out to because of his maintenance and arthritis. With that being said, let's go see my new stallion! Hey, pretty boy! Well, I think it's clear by now, I am the new owner of the gorgeous Frisian stallion, Dante. Funnily enough, he was the first horse I tried, and as soon as I did, I knew he was the right one for me and that the other horses were really gonna have to blow me away to change my mind. This horse had such a dreamy, floaty movement with each gait and had some seriously impressive movements that I was able to perform on him as just a beginner in this world of dressage. He had a strong work ethic and was super eager to please. According to his trainer and owner, he was one of the barn favorites at their stables. At 17 hands high, his height was a concern at first, but that quickly was put behind me because he had such a relaxed way of going, which made our ride a lot of fun, and I think we just clicked. Granted, it's going to take a whole lot of time and training for me to get to the level that he's on, and I don't know if we'll ever be at Grand Prix level. In fact, I'm certain we won't be, but I am so excited to compete in really advanced dressage competitions with him and see how far we can go together. I'm not all that obsessed with dressage, but now that I have the right horse, I'm super excited about the idea of it. And for my plans later on down the line with him, I could get a mare to breed and have a little Dante baby to produce and train. The possibilities feel so big right now, and it just all feels right. And if the price to pay for all that was going over budget, he is 100% worth it. With all that being said, it is time for the journey home, which is not going to be a simple trailer ride back. Jorvik is miles away overseas, which means a plane ride. Bringing Dante home on an airplane was quite the experience. It was filled with meticulous preparation and a touch of anxiety. It did take a while. He had to go through a quarantine period, get all his vaccinations, health checks, get his passport sorted out. I also got him used to the horse container by letting him spend time in it before the trip home. He's actually sort of a seasoned traveler at this point because this wasn't his first experience stallions going overseas. He has been flown around to some fancy dressage competitions, and you better believe he looked every bit like a first-class traveler. He wore a patterned halter to keep him comfortable during the trip, and then protective leg wraps to prevent any injuries during the journey, as well as a tail bandage to keep his long flowy tail looking neat. I was fortunate enough to be able to be on the flight with him to see to it that he got the necessary care. But of course, there were professional flight grooms and vets there to give me a helping hand and monitor him. He coped very well. He just munched on his hay, settled in really nicely. Seeing him so relaxed helped ease my worries just a tad. Knowing that Dante would be home soon made it so incredibly worth it. After a whole 4-hour plane ride, it was time to unload Dante from the trailer to welcome him to his forever home at the CEC. When we arrived, his ears immediately perked up. He was clearly curious about this new weird place. I let him out and made sure he took his time to just adjust to the ground beneath him because he had been traveling a lot from airplanes to trailers. I walked him around for a bit, just let him stretch his legs, get a feel for the place. He seemed relaxed, which was again a relief. I think the journey was more of a stress for me than him, to be honest. And then I led him to his new pasture, which he would be getting all to himself because although he's got a really good brain on him, he still is a stallion. I finally let him loose, and he very impressively trotted off with this high-stepping trot because he had so much pent-up energy, and maybe because he was showing off a little at this new place. He also graced us with a few very speedy victory laps around his new pasture, and after he got a bit more settled, he looked back at me as if to say, "This will do." Once he got really comfortable at the CEC, I tacked him up for our first ride home. We started with a warm-up, just focusing on walk and trot transitions to get him loosened up, and despite being in a new environment, Dante was very attentive and responsive. His extended trot was as impressive as ever with a lot of lift and energy, but he also collected beautifully when asked. I worked on some lateral movements like shoulder in and leg yields to see how he would respond to my aids. He was just light in the reins and very sensitive to my seat, which made the ride really enjoyable, just like he had been in my trial ride. There were a few moments where he seemed a bit distracted, probably still adjusting to his new surroundings though, so that's not to worry. But with some gentle encouragement, he quickly refocused. We didn't push too hard. I really wanted to keep the session short and positive. By the end, Dante was moving really nicely, carrying himself with confidence. It's clear that he has a lot of potential and a great work ethic that I'm so excited to tap into. I cannot wait to see how he will progress. For now though, this is a solid start, and I'm really looking forward to many more rides with this incredible horse. I just can't believe I actually have Dante here at the CEC. It's kind of surreal. I know I'm always saying this is a journey rather than a destination, but this honestly feels like such a big step for me. I'm still buzzing from the whole experience, finding him, bringing him home, and now just getting to know him better. This stallion is everything I was looking for and more, and I feel like we're really starting to vibe with each other, you know? When I was buying him, I had some doubts, questions like, will I be able to keep up with him in his training? Is he really the right fit? Will I ruin him because, you know, I'm not a Grand Prix dressage rider? But spending time with him really eases those worries. I have to remember that as long as I'm providing him with the right environment to thrive and properly taking care of him, I'm not letting him down, so I don't need to have crazy high expectations. I've never been more excited to step into the world of dressage. Even if we're just having fun and exploring, it'll be a great experience. And can we talk about the possibilities? Competing in dressage, maybe even breeding down the line. Just picturing a little Dante baby is enough to get me excited about what's ahead. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Anyways, thank you guys so much for coming along on this wild ride, and I hope you'll stick around for all the exciting chapters yet to come. Subscribe to be a part of our Barn family, and I will catch you all in the next one. Oh, looks like Dante wanted to be part of the outro. Thanks for the 2 cents.
Fell in love.